When we think about rest and work or labor, we tend to think that we're doing these things that tire us out, and then we stop doing those things. However, rest does not necessarily mean a cessation from doing something. It could also mean coming into peace and calm and being comfortable with your situation. And that's the context that I think of when I see this gospel. When we go through life, we tend to think, oh, we are free when we're able to do our own thing. But quite often, doing our own thing causes us more burden than relief. If we're prideful, we want to present this certain image about ourselves, we have to continue doing the things that support that image. Quite often we think the things that bring us happiness are those little indulgences, sinful or not, that we allow ourselves to do that give us this very unsatisfactory and momentary pleasure. When I read, "My yoke is easy and my burden light," I remember before knowing what a real yoke was, I was thinking, hey, I got nothing on my shoulders now, and then boom, Jesus is going to put this thing that I'm going to have to carry around with me. But when I learned what a yoke is something that allows two draft animals to work together. They're harnessed together. It made me realize that taking on the yoke of Jesus wasn't taking on something on my shoulder. It wasn't making me have more burden in my life. In fact, it was letting me know that Jesus now was going to help me carry the load. When we are harnessed to our own sin and selfishness and pride, the root of all other sin is pride. We ourselves are dragging ourselves down. We're creating lifestyles that make ourselves the focus rather than God. However, when we take on the yoke of Jesus, we realize that the work that we are to do, the labor that we are to do, is to bring peace and love into the world, and that Jesus is going to help us do that. The way that we take on that yoke of Jesus is to make sure that we immerse ourselves in the work of Jesus. Some of it is formalized. Some of it is ministry, either as a presbyter or a deacon or a lay minister. Sometimes it's in the vocation of matrimony and raising children. There are other good and holy labors that are out there, but all of those things are helped when we realize what it is that Jesus wants us to do with those vocations. Being a priest or a deacon or a lay minister or a married couple or whatever it is does not make you a holy person. It is how you fulfill that vocation that determines whether you're holy or not. Matter of fact, I don't even like that word "your," because if we're looking at ourselves, we're looking away from Jesus. The way for us to rest from our labor is to take on the labor of Jesus, which is the spreading of peace and love in this world. Let us take on that yoke through prayer, through study of the scriptures and sacred traditions, through and with the help of the magisterium of the church. And let's quiet our hearts and minds so that we can hear that voice of Jesus who is at the other end of that yoke. Let us say yes. Let us take on the yoke of Jesus.